Good evening everyone and welcome to the Right Circle, event organized by Prabha Khaitan Foundation. I, Tanushree Datta Gogoi, Ehsaas Woman of Guwahati, take great pleasure to welcome each one of you to this splendid evening. Before we start, I would like to request all of you to please put your phone in silent mode. Here we celebrate the beauty of language and literature, bringing together a community of passionate readers who cherish the written word. This stellar literary initiative by the Prabha Khaitan Foundation provides a unique and informal setting where authors and readers come together to engage in meaningful conversations. Today's event is in association with Vivanta by Taj, with the untiring support of the Ehsaas Women of Guwahati. Eminent patron Sri Cement Limited supports our events as their CSR initiative. Now, I welcome our guest author, Koral Dasgupta, for the evening. She will be in conversation with Simalisha Baruah, Ehsaas Woman of Guwahati. We eagerly anticipate the intriguing conversation in a few minutes. Before moving ahead with the session, allow me to say a few words about the foundation. The Prabha Khaitan Foundation is a non-profitable trust committed to socio-cultural causes. Late, Dr. Prabha Khaitan established it as a charitable trust in the early 1980s. Based in Kolkata, it is committed to supporting women's empowerment, gender equality, literature, culture, and performing arts. Late Dr. Prabha Khaitan was an eminent Indian literature, philanthropist, social worker, entrepreneur, and feminist who established the foundation and believed in unity in diversity. The foundation's multifaceted initiatives include the Right Circle, Kalam, Akhar, Kitab, and Author's Afternoon, Loves, Shabd, Ek Mulakat, Teta-Tea, The Universe Writes, Chaupal, Rahat, Karuna, Muskan, and boutique festivals like Shaharnama and Ramayana Kala Utsav. These fall under the diverse verticals of literature and language, culture and heritage, social welfare, and women empowerment. We are elated to share that the three-time Grammy Award winner, Ricky Cage, the man behind the anthem like we were playing just a while ago, and the signature caller tune of Prabha Khaitan Foundation, has curated 12 amazing pieces to score across video invites of events and social media platforms, as well for pan-India and overseas communications. To create awareness in the community, we uphold one pressing social issue every month. The music for the month of September is The Magic of Today is the Science of Tomorrow, a musical piece that reminds us never to lose our childlike fascination, to learn, and to never stop believing in miracles. Now let me take a few seconds to introduce the guest author. Koral has published 9 books, including the 5-book Sati series, a retelling of the stories of the Panchakanya. Other than India, Koral's books are shelved in the libraries of University of Harvard, Columbia University, University of Chicago, University of Wales, and many others. The books on the Sati series have received nominations for many prestigious awards. The most recent is Ahalya, being recommended for 2023 Prize Honor List of Sahitya Academy. Her 4th book, Summer Holidays, has been optioned for screen adaptation. www.tellmeyourstory.biz, founded by Koral, leverages literature to execute an extensive learning program on creative writing and critical thinking. She is recognized in the list of Innovators 25 Asia Pacific 2019, prepared by the Holmes Report, a New York-based PR news agency, and has been listed under the Women of Wonder series in Outlook Business. Her website is www.koraldasgupta.com. As for Simalisha Baruah, a literary enthusiast, a professional in her own right, and fellow Ehsaas Woman of Guwahati. Without any further ado, I leave the floor to you, Simalisha.
Good evening, everyone. I'm extremely delighted to be sitting here with the eminent writer Koral Dasgupta, who's earned a niche for herself, and she has quite a few novels in her name. So, in the short truncated time that we have, we'll talk about a new book from the Panchakanya series, which is Tara. But so before we talk about Tara, we want to know about your journey. What were you doing before being an author? And when did you know that you really wanted to be a writer?
Hello, thank you so much, Ehsaas Woman of Guwahati and Prabhakar Foundation for arranging this beautiful evening. And thanks to all of you who have shown up. It would be wonderful to interact and meet all of you, which I look forward to at the end of this discussion. When did I'm yet to, this thing is yet to sink in that all these books are written by me. It's somewhere there. But actually I was in a sales and marketing profile before this. I had done my MBA, got into that, was definitely not enjoying. Then I got pregnant and I was teaching in a management college. So pregnancy is great. I mean, the anticipation of a child is great, but the restrictions were not. And especially if you're a very active person, it's really, really frustrating. So I thought that I'll engage myself. There are a lot of things that I do in class, interesting things, discussing Bollywood, from management theories, analyzing them. So I was trying to document them out so that I can use them again in the next semester. And then the way it shaped up, I felt that it would make into a reference book. So I offered it to a few publishers and Westland accepted it. That's how I became an author. I was lucky.
Okay. So your first book is Power of a Common Man. So that is how so why Power of a Common Man? What does the name signify?
So that book uses Shah Rukh Khan as the case study. And that was when Chennai Express had just released. And there was a phrase there, don't underestimate the power
of a common man. Yeah.
So we wanted to play upon, he is doing the marketing expenditure, we will just sell it.
Okay. And your second book is Fall Winter Collection. So tell us about that book.
That is my first fiction.
Okay.
And it is about a sculptor in Shantiniketan. You could say that everything in the book is a reality, only the protagonists are not. They are imagination. But otherwise, I have spent 3 years in Shantiniketan doing my graduation. I have spent a lot of time in Koral trying to see. I was deeply invested in the art section, but I was medically unfit to pursue sculpting. I have a migraine issue, that's right. So I still bunked my economics classes and sat there. And I knew that world very well. And I could actually see that kind of a sculptor. I could see that such kind of things happening. In that book, the sculptor is working on a secret project of Krishna's 6 women. So that was, I think I was warming up to some kind of mythological connection. I loved them. And if you are if you have any interest in sculpting in India, you cannot not study the Nataraj. That is the basic of sculpting studies. So those things were very much there in my studying the symbolism, understanding which mudra means what, the art and the philosophy and the symbolism associated. And of course, Shantiniketan is beautiful in terms of its climate, its nature. So that's how the novel ended.
You spent 3 years doing your graduation there, right? Okay. And how was your third book born? That's Russia. So that's mythology or contemporary?
Russia was actually the book that I had worked very hard for about 2-3 years. I was just writing, scrapping. It is a story of love triangle between 3 Bharatanatyam dancers. And Russia is the name of a stage show, choreography that they are planning to launch in Manhattan and start their academy there. They have this academy in India and they are starting there.
It's pure fiction?
Pure fiction. And Russia is the name of that show where there's a love triangle outside and on stage they're doing a show on Shiva Kali Gauri. So yeah, Gauri is the wife.
Mythology as well.
Yeah. Gauri is the wife and Kali is the partner at work. So it's that kind of that who is closer to Shiva or who should be closer to Shiva. That's the fact.
Very interesting. Must read. So then came your 5th book, Summer Holidays. That's your 4th book. Okay, yeah, 4th. and finally the Panchakanya series. So, what prompted you to make the choice of writing about Panchakanyas?
It was a spark actually that I felt, and I was very sure that nobody will accept this offer. So I was just sending out frivolous mails with zero expectation.
So you already started writing by then, or
only Ahalya was written?
Ahalya was already written.
The rest I didn't know what I'll write. I had only Ahalya in place. What had struck me about Panchakanya is, for a long time, I have been quite comparatively well read in mythology than many others in my generation. Many versions of them I have read when I was younger or in the past. So, what struck me was that here there's a Panchakanya, and the Kanya thing translates as virgin, the untouched. And they're saying that these are the Mahasatis, the purest. For a long time, and I come from Bengal, where Sati is a very political word. Women have been thrown into fire for maintaining their purity, physical purity. And here I see that the 5 who are being called Mahasatis, almost all of them have had more than one partner.
One partner in the life, okay.
So, yeah, it was like that for such
Tara,
a...
of course. But
all
I
of them.
didn't know. Oh, okay. And even Mandodari?
It is said.
Okay.
It is said.
Okay.
Though in my book I haven't used that part, but it is said. So it just came to me that if all the women who have had multiple partners are being called Mahasatis, then that Sati thing or the purity thing cannot be about women's body. There has to be something bigger than that. And then the next thing that struck me was, we see our epics, Ramayana, Mahabharata, or any such ancient text from a very religious perspective. And religion is anytime used to divide people. It is never used to unite. However, these are actually ancient philosophy. They are not ancient religion. And when you look at philosophy, philosophy will not treat anything that is, or will not treat with importance anything that has very small scope. Philosophy always deals with the bigger aspect of things. So for philosophy, the body is a very temporary home of your soul as long as it is on earth. After that, soul-free, body, decomposed, and the soul is free till it comes back, decides to come back on earth, or it is fated to come back on earth. So what I felt is that this purity thing is not about the body, and in present context when I look at it, I understand that there are multiple things that are constantly floating around you. For example, people might say, people close to you might say that, see, kindness doesn't work any longer. You have to be a little shrewd. You have to choose yourself. You have to be a little selfish. If you are not that person, if you believe that it is better to be there for everybody, not be kind, if you believe in those qualities, then don't get touched by those other things just because others are saying. That is the purity that philosophy is talking about. And this again brings to the fact, which I explored and found out while writing all the 5 books in Sati series, that everything in mythology is, every character, every event, every moment is a metaphor, trying to tell a bigger truth. And nothing is for men only, and nothing is for women only. Something that is a women's problem in the epics can happen in a man's life and vice versa. So everything is, everybody is learning. And what mythology, the baseline of what mythology says is, we need to have the collaboration of masculine and feminine energy to create something beautiful, to be productive. If you see Shiva Shakti, when they are together, there is productivity. When you separate Shakti from Shiva, there is Tanda. And that is in every story, in every way. That is all that mythology is trying to say. And for a long, long time, centuries, these same texts have been used to tell us that a certain section of the society is superior, a certain section of the society is supposed to serve the superior. It is so.
So So, is there a residual message that you want to leave through your 5 books? What do you think they're trying to convey?
I wouldn't say a residual message because I'm just a storyteller. I'm not trying to, I didn't even try to write a women's narrative. Just because it was Panchkanya, it is the first person's narrative of each woman. So, when I put it as a first person's narrative, I get to show what they are thinking along with what they are saying. Which is again for everybody, men or women. They choose their battles, right? They don't always erupt. They sometimes say, they sometimes don't. But a woman's way of thinking is different from a man's way of thinking. So a lot of things that they observe and feel very deeply about and why they are feeling, so I could show that. So maybe for that people feel that okay, I'm doing a feminist narrative. I'm not. I don't believe in that word.
At least in Tara you haven't. So you don't have
I haven't in either. Yeah. In all the books there are gorgeous males,
yes,
along with wonderful females.
As I was telling you, we've always read that Bali was always shown in a negative light. But then in this book, all the 4 characters are so beautiful, like Bali, Sugriv, and Tara and Ruma. They were so beautiful in their own way. You could choose a particular character that this is my favorite character, because all the protagonists have been projected so beautifully. They were so perfect in their own way. It was beautiful. So what I would like to ask you is, during your research, taking a close look at the epics 2000 years ago, when they were compiled, which story character would you say would be your favorite among all the 5 books?
I would name, okay, Draupadi was the most difficult to write, because 1, that lady is really demanding, and 2, so much of content has been produced on Draupadi, yes, that it really takes your blood and sweat out when you have to produce something, and such big people have done, different kinds of creative translation and big names. So I was really scared about Draupadi going out.
And you can actually, while reading the book, constantly, because in between you forget that actually they are all monkeys, as I was telling you. But then you've kind of woven into, suddenly you talk about the tail and the fur and all that. So then you realize, okay, they are monkeys. So as I was telling you, it took me a while, because in my mind I dressed them up, because I couldn't relate to monkeys without being dressed. But then you've done it beautifully. So what I want to ask you next is, can you tell us what were you going through when you were writing about the Panchakanyas? And what were you discovering about yourself? And do you get writer's block? And if yes, how do you deal with it?
I think that writer's block is a glorified word. I mean, it's my personal opinion.
Because you are a writer, but then I guess you are probably natural.
No, I mean, when you are serious about it, I mean, serious to the extent that it is your profession. Writer's block is like, Kohli going out and returning with a 0 one day. It is a bad day at sport, bad day at work. It is not writer's block. Similarly, writer's block is an intellectual term which has been glorified a lot. It's just a bad day at work when nothing is coming through. And it happens in every profession. So, what I learned was a lot. Writing the Sati series has actually dispelled a lot of mind blocks that I had. My way of looking at life, my way of looking at people have changed. I am probably now a lot more free with myself, and my understanding for God has really drastically changed. So there's a lot of internal spiritual peace that I experience, and a lot of fear has gone out of the window. Because when it comes to women's journey, when it comes to men's journey as well, I would especially want to underline that, because patriarchy has not impacted only women. they have messed up men's life as well. So that kind of disharmony and chaos that has been caused. From there, my primary identity is that of a mother, and now when I talk to my child, a lot of things I think are a lot more mature than I was initially.
Which once you read the book, you'll know, because I was telling Koral that there's one instance where Tara was explaining something about the father, to the child, and it really, I took a while to kind of the whole thing to sink in, because we tend to talk to our, we don't. These words are so important in our lives, especially if you're talking to your child about the other parent. Here she's put across so beautifully, without kind of trying to, covering up for the father, and it was beautifully done. So, you can really learn a lot from, probably you are a very sorted parent,
No, I'm a very messy parent.
I felt, my God, I don't think twice before speaking to my child about, anything. But there, everything that Tara was explaining to Angad, it showed your kind of perspective that is how,
I feel that when we are talking, especially to children, or anybody actually, even mother, even anybody, we talk a lot more complicated way, hiding ourselves, sanitizing ourselves, trying to picture ourselves in a particular way. If you are actually very, very honest about the way you are, and you don't have to be rude about it, rude because of that, it is just accepting yourself as you are. Things become very easy and sometimes even funny. So there was this, I'll give you an example. I was trying for a fellowship very badly. I really wanted it. It didn't work out. My papers were really good, I felt, but then it didn't work out. I didn't get the offer. Fair enough, you just explain to yourself that, okay, you didn't get it, no problem. Now someone else got it and I know that person. So you're naturally only, what the hell? You just tell God that you didn't give me fine. Why did you give her? Now every day she is posting something on Instagram and you're so jealous.
I know.
And it is just natural. And I told her also that, man, I jealous you. So she also started laughing. So these days when she posts, sometimes she DMs me that, see what, this is what I am doing. Things become very easy.
Exactly.
The moment you try to
yourself, don't cover up, and
you do not have to cover up. It's absolutely fine, and you don't have to be a crooked person either in order to do that.
You're just being vocal about your feelings, what you're going through.
If you take it very naturally, things become so beautiful.
Yeah. So when the author documents history, mythology, she also has her favorites. So who were you drawn to most in Tara? Now we'd like to know about Tara.
As in the character?
Character and then which character in Tara were you most drawn to?
Writing Tara was very easy for me because I have seen characters like Tara. All my friends are like that. Even I am to some extent like that. So writing Tara was very easy. A notorious girl who will mess up something, do something stupid, try to run away, irritate the hell out of the people around her. I do that all the time. To my husband, to my mother. And then I put the blame on my mother or my husband. So I have done it so well that writing Tara was like cakewalk. Writing Bali was difficult. Because I wanted to, not only Bali, even Sugriv. Because these were two different characters.
Personalities are poles apart.
Yes. Their motivations are different. What they think is correct. Their sense of correctness is different. Their vision of life is very different, and it is. We see such people around us, And at the same time, I named Bali first because I feel that Bali's connection with real life is way bigger than anybody else in Tara or in mythology for that matter. You see, Bali was a very funny, Bali and Sugriv, they were the thickest of friends in Ramayana. And then there came a time when Bali was fighting two very, very fierce demons. One was Dunduvi, the other was Mayavi. And when Bali tried to fight with Mayavi, he was drawn into the underworld by Mayavi. And years passed, Bali did not come out. Sugriv thought that Bali was dead and he shut the mouth of the underworld. By the time Bali emerged victorious and he came back, he felt that the boulder in the mouth of the cave was Sugriv's doing, and he comes back to find that Sugriv has taken over everything that was his. The kingdom, the females, everything. So of course he is very angry. That is the story mainly, Bali's. If you see in our life, all of us, and all of us means actually all of us, when we are small, we are very funny, very friendly, very easy. It's very easy for us to forgive. It's very easy for us to love. We don't judge. We are just free flowing. And then all of us, at some point of time, has to fight with one demon called Mayavi. And nobody can escape Mayavi. Someone has had a harassment at workplace. Someone had to leave her job, a very well-to-do profile. Someone has lost the parents and leave studies. There are different ways in which Mayavi enters lives. And we all have to fight, endure that phase when we are fighting that Mayavi. And once that fight ends, and most of us emerge victorious, we leave that phase of Mayavi behind and come forward. The person who has emerged victorious after defeating Mayavi is no longer the same person who started fighting with Mayavi. We have changed so drastically, and what goes out from us is our ability to love, our ability to choose fun, our ability to forgive, our ability to our ability to just love unconditionally. What creeps into our mind is doubt. That results out of fear. We think that this will happen to us again. And so everybody, we start doubting everybody. That whatever they're saying, whatever they're doing, the moment they disagree, we doubt that the person is against me. That is what happened to Bali. And tell me one person for whom this is not true. We all are suffering from Bali syndrome.
Absolutely. So another thing I wanted to ask is, to what we've read, we've always read, at least for me, little that I know about Bali and Sugriv, it's all the Amachitra Kathas and all. So to what I gather, if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, that when Bali, as he was dying, he tells Tara about, he whispers something that you've mentioned in the book, but you kept it at that. So is it, so what was that, was intentional or what? Okay, because if I remember correctly, what we had read is that you have to marry Sugriv because otherwise Angad cannot be the king. Angad needs to be the next.
That's not Valmiki Ramayana. Those are later interpretations.
Later interpretations.
What Bali had told Tara is marry Sugriv.
For no reason. Okay.
No.
I mean,
because Tara was native of the forest.
Okay.
And Bali Sugriv had come from outside.
Yeah. So she
had to remain a queen.
She had to.
She was the central connection.
Okay.
She owned the forest. I mean, that is my interpretation.
Okay. Okay.
That she was the forest responded to her.
Yeah.
So whoever the forest responds to is the monarch.
Okay.
The rest are actually her, people who are working for her.
Yeah. She was actually the monarch. If I actually, now if I'm trying to recall, whatever, she actually made everyone, even, she ruled Bali actually. Yeah. She made whatever Sugriv did or whatever Bali did, it's according to her wish. So why did you start the book with a letter to Mandodari? What was the connection?
Actually, Mandodari ends with that that sentence that she has received a letter from Tara.
Okay.
And Hanuman had taken it to Mandodari, and Mandodari refuses to read it because she knows what is that in that letter.
Okay.
And the letter is of course there in Tara. In Mandodari, Ravan's death happened because his yagna was destroyed. And in the destruction of that yagna, Angad had played a role. And Angad could play that role because Mandodari had supported that kind of intervention by Angad. That is there in my Mandodari. So now when she receives, Bali and Ravan were friends.
Friends, yes.
And Ravan had told Bali that if you ever want my life, you can claim it. I'll give it.
Okay.
So Tara, when Angad comes and tells Mandodari that my mother said I should meet you, Mandodari immediately knows that what she has asked for. After that, after Ravan's death, when she receives the letter, she refuses to read it because she knows what she must have written. What she had written is there in Tara.
Okay. So ideally, if I start reading your first,
All the books are connected, but still independent.
Still independent. Okay. Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out. Yes. So why the sequel of so it was the whole Panchkanyas are in that sequel only. I mean, okay.
Exactly. In that sequel only I have brought it out.
It starts with Ahalya and Kunti,
Draupadi, Mandodari, Tara.
So which was the toughest book to write? Draupadi, you mentioned, yes. Okay. Because
I am rather intrigued that how come Sita is not there.
Yeah, I
mean,
she is
the heroine,
yes,
of Ramayana, and Bachpan se everybody has told us.
Even I had to read it twice because to know that Panchkanyas, Sita is not one of them.
Yeah, Sita is not one.
And they are apparently the Mahasatis. I read somewhere Panchkanyas are also called Mahasatis.
This Panchkanya term is there in the Puranas.
Okay.
There's a sloka which says that if you recite the Panchkanyas, great sins get dispelled and you feel spiritually empowered.
There's a shloka.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
much
later, I don't remember it. I don't know why the sloka, I just can't remember it.
Okay.
But it's very much there. You just Google it, you'll find it. But this is what it means.
It has all the Panchkanyas names. Okay.
Later, there was another coin, a term coin, which was called Panchsati. Okay. And Panchsati included Sita, Damayanti, all the women who were perceived as very obedient.
Okay.
So our society has done a very smart job.
Okay. So Panchkanyas are the ones who were little.
You mean
go-getters? Yeah, go-getters, and then each of them had
bold or go-getters. Most of these women are. If you look at Sita being included, we have been told Sita is obedient. You tell me from where Sita is obedient. She said she wanted to go to the forest. She said, "Get me the golden deer." When she was captivated, Hanuman went there and said that you come with me, I'll take you. She said, "I'll not go." I mean, everything she has been running from front. And then they say that Sita is obedient. Kahan se Sita obedient?
Now I would leave the stage. Anyone would like to ask Koral any question?
So, what do you relate most to Tara about?
Tara was very mischievous.
Yeah.
And very funny. But that doesn't mean that she was not serious. What we think about seriousness in life is, always talking serious things and dealing with everything which too much of importance, taking self very, seriously. I don't think that holds. I think that you can be a very fun-loving person, but at the same time you can be a very responsible person, a person who lives up to the expectations of self and others. So that was who Tara was, and that attracts me most to her.
One more question. Why do you think it took you so long to write Draupadi?
whenever there is any kind of crime against a woman in any story, you can never feel, or you just don't feel that you are done. You just feel that there has to be, I have to say more. It's not done. So Draupadi, that's what happened. Also, I felt that there were many more layers to Draupadi's story, and that was not necessarily related to Draupadi only. In Draupadi's story, Arjun had a very important role. Bhishma had a very important role. So I felt that those characters would, a little more concentration on those characters would enhance her story a lot more than otherwise. So I had submitted the manuscript and pulled it back and said that I'll give it to you after 2 months.
Okay, thank you.
So another question I would like to ask is, any character which was there in all your books? Any specific? Indra. Okay. So this book, of course, and everyone had Bali was Indra's son. So how was Mandodari connected to Indra?
In Mandodari, Indra is a villain.
Okay.
Because Ravan, if you see, that's again my thought after reading whatever I have. Ravan was a larger than life character. Whether you call him villain, whatever you call him, you cannot deny that the person was very inspiring. The person was very erudite, extremely talented. He was an artist. He was a rare talent in Ayurveda and so many other things. He was loaded. That kind of a person who believes that when you are that level talented, either you are very humble or you are very boastful. There's no space in between. And Ravan was that form. Yeah. For that kind of a person, what is Ayodhya? A small country in a big universe. I didn't feel that Ravan would actually want to have a fight with the prince of Ayodhya. His main fight was always about, he felt that Indra is not fit for ruling heaven. Devraj Indra, na? He always felt that, what is this joker doing there? I am way more talented than
he should be the ruler of Devlok.
I should be the ruler of Devlok. And actually, there are lots of times when Indra fails and Vishnu comes to protect. So for Ravan, probably, again my interpretation, that Rama and Sita were not just mere mortals who he happened to fight. It was a planned strategy that he was actually attacking Vishnu, the one who sides Indra. Because if Vishnu is slashed, Indra will come to him.
So any question?
Just a general one I want to ask, ma'am. Your books, along with, there are so many writers now who are veering more into mythological backgrounds. Why do you think this is happening? Is it just the reader's interest, or why? There's a lot of interest now in this, right? Is there any reason for this? I'm seeing so many books of this genre coming up now.
There is definitely an interest in going back. Okay, let me put it as bluntly as possible. There is a push towards Hindu narratives, political push towards Hindu narratives. The moment that happens, there are people who run for it because they have to please certain people. And there are also certain people who run for it because they want to know and they want to see beyond the politics of that particular party or that particular ideology. So you would find different kinds of writers writing, and you will actually get the motivation of each when you read them. Second reason is there is a genuine interest, be it for political push or whatever, there is a genuine interest in India's cultural past.
People want to know more about it.
Yes. And there's a lot of things, we may criticize in every way possible, and I personally have very strongly criticized the removal of Mughal history from schools. But this is also a fact that we have had gorgeous rulers, Indian rulers, who did not get space in Indian history, and we did not grow up reading about them. Not just The rulers about like Maurya and Chalukyas, there are gorgeous tribal rulers. वहाँ तक तो हम लोग अभी तक ऐसे भी नहीं पहुँचे हैं. मतलब Mughal history removed, Chalukyas and Mauryas in. Tribals we haven't even got there. You know, that probably will need another kind of political push to be able to get there. But we have had a very gorgeous past, and as I was saying that I perceive these as philosophy, not religion, and philosophy applies to all. It is not about men, women, Brahman, Shudra, Hindu, Muslim. There is a huge stretch that happened to be Bharat, extending till Burma, from Burma to Afghanistan. And this philosophy applies to everybody who belongs to this region, because they will be able to connect with the nature, they will be able to connect with the culture, they will be able to connect with the belief. And by belief, I don't mean just the god and goddess belief. I mean relationship beliefs. What is right, what is wrong kind of beliefs. You might end up torturing your spouse by thinking that I am more powerful. But in your mind, you know that this is not the right thing to do. And that's why you do it more and you feed more to be able to prove that you are doing the right thing. This has happened across society. And now we are going back to see that all those macho characters that has been introduced to us as Arjun and Bhishma, were they really macho or there was something else happening? And today when we look at the characters, we find a lot of other dimensions. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Ma'am, I'll just ask you something. Being an author, the publisher is of great importance to you. Did you ever encounter something that after putting so much of your everything, your hard work, a proper SWOT analysis goes into picking the right genre, what you're going to write? So did it ever happen there was a misprint somewhere in one of the copies that went out and maybe a reader gets back to you? So if such a scenario happens, how did you react or respond with your publisher? Because your business depends with them, your fame is also there, you have to maintain the fame at the same time.
The best thing to do, it has happened. With Ahalya there was a typo and some people had pointed it out to me. And in such cases the best thing to do is just say that I'm sorry, next edition it will change. And we did that. I would definitely not get angry with the publisher on that, because everybody, end of the day, everybody is a human being working under some entity. Just because they are publisher, they are not free of flaws. They will overlook, they can overlook. But the publisher's role in any book is huge, especially the editor's role. And they are never celebrated. You know that I have written the book, you don't know who has edited the book.
Very true.
But the editorial input is so important in the book's shaping up. It changes the book actually. There are so many things that they have agreed or disagreed, and that made me think more. Sometimes I got angry. But then you know that she is the first reader. So if she has not understood something, or if she is not convinced about something, then others will also not be convinced about it. So you actually go back to your dashboard and they really make you work hard. So publisher is my love.
So one last question. Since your husband's also an author, so are you both each other's strongest critic, or do you take his advice while writing, or does he take your advice?
No. His writing is very different from mine. Advice का मतलब मैं उसको सामने ना दूँ. So because if you seek advice from your spouse, ना पूरा दिन advice ही देता रहेगा.
I agree with you. Absolutely.
सवाल ही नहीं.
One thing that I wanted to ask you was, during your IIM days, you had mentioned somewhere that you would get Bollywood into the classroom. If you could please tell the audience about it.
Okay, so
are you a Bollywood fan?
Everybody is.
Yes.
I happen to be a big fan of Shah Rukh Khan.
I can make out from your first book. You dedicated your first book to Shah Rukh Khan, so
Yeah. So I was teaching in a management college, and if you don't have enough grey hairs, you don't get treated seriously as a professor, because there are other professors who are very senior, and then you are a Chotu Su, you're out there trying to say that you know things. So
I must have been very young too.
Yeah.
Young.
So, but then I had to work harder to be able to be at par. So I felt that and consumer behavior was my subject, and that is introduced in the second year, which is the third semester of MBA. Now, if I go on rattling about Kellogg's and Britannia and Nirma, they have been doing it for 1 full year. And me going back into those case studies will not actually make sense. And I really wanted the attention and attendance. So I started bringing examples of Bollywood, why Salman Khan is the face of Big Boss. Why was Dawn remade? Among all of Bachchan films, they could have done, Diwar or something like that. So the class started taking it very well. And impromptu, we will do a lot of case studies, and those, they were being taken very well. And the kids who were probably 3, 4, 5 years younger to me, they would challenge, they would bring their own schools of thought, they would have their own judgment, they would have their own arguments, which I really, really encouraged. Because they could bring up something that I was not thinking in those lines, they took a different tangent. And those really, really enriched the class. So I was documenting them out that, okay, next semester I'll use it. And I was also verifying with a lot of evidence that is available on the internet. Because I'm making a hypothesis, whether it's true or not, I have to provide evidence. No? So later I felt that, okay, this is quite the content of a consumer behavior reference book.
Does Shah Rukh Khan know that you dedicated a book to him?
Yeah. He had tweeted.
Okay. Any more questions? My sincere thanks to Koral Dasgupta for gracing us with her presence and sharing her insights. A warm thank you to Simalisha Baruah for your wonderful and on-point moderation. I would like to thank our association with Vivanta, the constant support of Ehsaas Women of Guwahati, and a humble patronage of Shree Cement Limited for making this event a successful one. Last but not least, thank you, wonderful audience, for your time and presence. We look forward to seeing you in our future events as well. The Pravakatan Foundation actively encourages cultural appreciation. The foundation supports local artisans, handicrafts, and handlooms, and through these efforts, we aim to strengthen unity and promote the appreciation of India's rich cultural heritage by sharing cultural mementos across different states. Today, we are pleased to felicitate the author with a giveaway made in a beautiful Assamese shawl. I would now like to request Dr. Alakanda Das to felicitate the author.